So what was the best outcome you had as a result of joining the Masterful Manifestors?
Ooh, I love this question. It reminds me of something that Talos said to me, actually, because there's been two, right? I've done two Masterful Manifestors. And the first one was so amazing and wonderful. And we were just, you guys were just getting it off the ground and kind of got to be in there, like, the pilot phase. We're like, okay, well, like, let's do this and let's do this and let's do that. And that was also when COVID hit and there was this like total chaos in the world. And we were meeting twice a week. And I was building my online business at the same time, like moved in with my mom, like, I have a son. Like there was all this kind of craziness going on in my personal life, in the world's life, right? And yet there was this really amazing, powerful, positive, uplifting, and not like we're like Pollyanna, right? Like none of you are Pollyanna where it's like, la, 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 like we don't see anything negative, just be happy. It's not like that. Like everyone comes to the group real and raw and also like, okay, and then what's the next step? And that got me through COVID, basically, and building a business and having to move with my mother and like all these kinds of things that were going on in so many different levels. There was this consistent, steady yes and keep doing this, you got it, you're all right. And the power of having that kind of support is it's priceless. It's unparalleled to anything else. And I remember when that original 90 days was over and it's like, okay, now like, let's do another one. And we actually have our business together now. And, it's an investment. And I was like, nah, not nah, but just like, it was this and it was wonderful. And I wasn't moving on to anything. It just had ended. And I remember Talos asked me, if I was going to do it. And I was like, I'm not really sure. Like, the time commitment and all this other drama that you think about in your mind. And he said, yeah, that's interesting. So I'm just curious, why would you stop doing something that worked? And that was so powerful, that moment right there. It's like, oh my God, how many times in my life have I stopped doing something that was working? Like more times than I care to admit in this moment right now. And it was that moment where I was like, oh my goodness. It wasn't just some fun thing that, we did. I mean, it was some fun thing that we just kind of did. And you know what I mean? I was in the first one that we just kind of like, let's throw some amazing things together. It was so much more than that. It has changed and transformed into something that I count on, something that I need, something that I value. It's helping me move through this life and move into being a better person each day, each week. So that's kind of a long story. But that's my story. That's the way that I see it. It's the power of more than one person, right? Two minds or more coming together for something uplifting and positive and to better each other's lives. It is something all people want, not just need, want.
That's so beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you. And, I still get reminded of that. And I think, you kind of sharing that before as far as, why I stopped doing something that works. I catch myself quicker in that and seeing that like, whoa, go back to what works. So that's so powerful. What did you manifest during this time period?
Oh, yeah. I am manifesting. And it's so cool because one of the things that we do is we own it, we take it, we ask for it, we receive it, we give it. There's so much movement that happens in a group like this that even just acknowledging and realizing it's kind of like gratitude, right? It's like, well, what are you grateful for? Oh, you know, my family and my friends. That's baseline, right? That's like the first time anyone's ever heard the word gratitude. They're like, oh, you know, family and friends, you know, oh, I got a roof over my house. And you can kind of like go down the layers. And then as you get more into the power of that word and what it means and the energy and the openness in the heart and the way it changes the mind, gratitude becomes like a living, breathing space to be in that helps you, you know, give and receive and be open to bigger, better things. Well, manifestation is the same for me. It's that word that was like weird, you know what I mean? It just was weird, you know, like when I manifest, yeah, I don't know. Like for some reason, I always imagine that it's like the Legos movie or something like that, right? Where you just like walk in and like all of a sudden there's like, I manifested it. And there's like a city with people, you know? For some reason, like that's what I imagine the brain is doing. It's building life and worlds and universes and experiences and all that kind of stuff. And like, no, that's a little bit out there. And so I couldn't really relate to that. I'm like, I'm not really a builder, you know, I don't really do that kind of thing. And so one of the things that I've learned over the last several months in this group as well is what that word manifest means to me, and learning about that through your guys's example, and then seeing how that relates to my experience and kind of testing the waters a little bit, and then seeing how, you know, what sticks and what doesn't, what makes sense to me, and then testing it a little bit more. And I really love the idea of the growth, the transformation of understanding what that word means for me, the manifesting, and understanding that my internal thoughts and dreams and wishes and even fears and concerns and old issues that I haven't dealt with, like those reflect into the world. And that is what I'm beginning to understand, is how I then create my external experience based from my internal experience, and how important it is to really do that kind of work inside of my. And this was brought up to me last night, and I might just get a little teary-eyed about it. I know that I've done a lot of work, and there's been a lot of healing around my anger and aggression towards myself and other people, and blame and shame and all of that kind of stuff. A ton of work. And it was brought up to me last night that I still got some work to do. You know, someone put a big old mirror up in my face and was like, you still got this issue and it's affecting me. And I'm like, oh God, it's so painful. And yet, just as we were talking about in an earlier group, there's this favorite prayer that I have where it's like, thank you, God, for bringing it up so that it can be healed. Because I'm realizing in my life, in my world, the places where I'm bumping up to people, it's not that I'm never going to bump up to people. Say I'm like, you know, whatever, innocent as Snow White, whatever, like you're still going to bump up to people, but like the way in which I attach meaning and you know, myself into that, and just how upset and angry I get, that's because it's touching something inside of me. And so I really want more for my life. I want to give more and serve more and be more and have great experiences and be able to be a great mom to my son and a great, you know, partner to somebody somewhere at some time. Lord, bring him down. I want to be a great employer. I want to serve. So there's always a little bit more, not necessarily like, you know, 15 houses, that kind of stuff. Although, you know, I'll take that too, if that's coming my way. Happy to. But really to show up in the world the way that I know that I can and that I want to and that I'm meant to be. So for me, manifesting has been this awakening of that relationship between what's going on inside and what I'm actually experiencing on the outside, and how those two match up, whether I like it or not. And so being in a group like this has allowed me the space and the place to be me, to let that scary stuff come up and know that I have what I need to work through that, to deal with that, to make the transformation.
Ooh, so powerful. That's so, so beautiful. Yes. I love the way you explain things, Rose. What specific feature did you like most about Masterful Manifestors?
Oh, that's a great one. That's a really good one. I don't know if I can pinpoint one, so I'm just going to name a couple things that are coming up to me. I mean, certainly top on the board there is going to be the community group calls. I mean, that's just where it's at. I can't do this on my own. Lord knows I'd have done it a long time ago, right? It's hard to see your own stuff without other people, right? It's hard to even know that there is something on the other side of that mountain until someone kind of like peeks up around and goes, whoa, Dad, it's pretty cool over here. Come on. And you're like, oh shit, yeah. Like, it's just so easy in life just to get lost and discombobulated. And the way in which the group comes together, again, with that genuine authenticity and powerful intention to move forward and through stuff and to be vulnerable. And when you're in a group where there's people that are willing to be vulnerable and to show up in that way, it allows you the space to show up in that way as well. And then the healing can really begin to happen. So I got to say that our calls that we're going to do actually in a little bit, so I'm super excited about that to see everybody, our afternoon calls on Friday. Those are absolutely wonderful. I also am a lifelong learner, and I love to know more and understand more and see other people's perspectives so that I can know what else is available to me. And so the classes have been absolutely wonderful. There's meditation sessions where I literally listen to the melody one like every single day. I can't go on with my day without it. I think it's like 10 minutes long. It's beautiful. It's like this piano melody that happens. I mean, every piece that you guys have gone through, and of course the movement. Lord knows we need movement, motivation, Mel. Like literally every single day, because COVID sucks and I live in California and we can't even go outside. We can't breathe. Like it's obnoxious. It's been 6 weeks. I've gone out maybe 7 times. It's crazy. So there are so many ways in which, again, that doesn't mean I just am going to sit on my bottom all day long. But if I don't have somebody else, right, like you popping up every day, you guys, what are you doing? Marianne doing her little chats. You know, the Facebook group has been so amazing because everyone gets to go live and share their stuff. So we don't have to wait for that once a week call, which is really beautiful to stay in touch with each other. We can continue, and we do continue, all of us, to share during the week and go live in the Facebook group. So that's been invaluable as well. I know I just keep going on. I'm like, every time I think of like another thing that you guys do, I'm like, oh yeah, that too. Oh yeah, that too. Like every piece is not something that I use every single day, but each of the pieces I've used throughout my time because I'm human and I have ups and downs and different things are going on. And so I need something different to keep me going and to keep me motivated and to keep me on the right track each day. And you guys just provide such an incredible rounded wealth of personality, of information, of motivation, of clear guidance. I mean, it's just beautiful.
That's awesome. I'm sorry to hear that you still can't breathe over there. That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
Girl, tell me right now, I'm looking outside and
you're going to get some rain. You'll get some rain and it'll just like dump it down and you'll have some few air. I'll do some dancing around for you later. Let's see. Who would you recommend the Masterful Manifestors to and why?
Wow. Kind of all my clients and all of my potential clients, like everyone in my group. I mean, so it's so funny. So what I do professionally is obviously I help people in a specific area of their life. And every time I'm talking to anybody, they're like, oh yeah, totally. This has gotten out of control the last 6 months because of COVID. It's like crazy, you know, this has gotten out of control. This is out of control, like in their own personal life, not just like the world is crazy. Like that was an excuse for people to just go crazy with alcohol, crazy with eating, crazy with weird stuff that they're just, you know, soothing. So, I mean, I totally get it, right? Like we all have our moments of like, what happened? I'm soothing and now I can't move. And it's incredible how many people have let themselves go. We're in an incredible amount of fear right now in our country for so many reasons, on so many levels. The entire world is just unsure of what's going on. So, you know, again, when Talos asked me that first time, he's like, well, I'm glad that you got so much benefit from the first one. Like, why wouldn't you continue this on? It's like, oh my God, I haven't felt any of that for all of this. Like my weight is stable. I don't drink, don't have any desire to. I started my own business. Like literally this course is good for anyone who wants to live and prosper and allow their own inner guidance to move them and draw them towards what they're actually here to do on this earth in this life. It is really easy to get distracted with stuff. I mean, it's totally normal. It's totally normal to get distracted with the ups and downs and the frustrations of life. And what Masterful Manifestors does is it gives that stability, that even keel, that base foundation, that continued strength, that container to hold all of it, all of the stuff. As bad as it gets, this container can hold all of that and continue to support us. I don't know why I just had a vision of like, what's his face? Noah's Ark. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like the flood's coming, get on the boat. So it just feels like the boat in the middle of chaos. It's like that calm within the storm. So yeah, I would highly recommend taking this course and just jumping in with both feet and showing up and participating fully and showing up for you, for your own self.
That's awesome, Noah's Ark. Oh, what would be an obstacle, or what would have been an obstacle that might have prevented you from joining Masterful Manifestors?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Well, the time, right? Because it is, you know, you do got to show up. I mean, is it crazy amount of time? No, of course. And it is a challenge, I know, for myself and for my clients as well, to sign up for something, like, you know, invest in something, knowing that you're not going to be able to do all the things. That can be a bit overwhelming. And so it certainly was the investment, and then well, does that really make sense to spend that money when I'm not going to be able to do all the things? And again, as soon as Taylor said, well, you know, the benefit that it gives you already, like, you don't really need to sell you on that. Like, you already had the experience. Like, why would you not want to continue that? It's not even like, oh, are you worth it, or is it worth it? It was just, I was like, oh my God, even if I showed up one time a week and did one other 10-minute thing, or even just, and that's kind of what I did. I showed up basically one time a week, even though you guys had 2 times a week that you met live. I think I showed up to the other one a couple times, watched the replays a couple times, you know, kept up with everybody during the lives that they were doing. You know, I shared a few live times myself. So it was very minimal and 100,000 times worth it. So really what was holding me back was that perfectionism. It's that, well, if it can't be perfect, I'm not going to do it at all. And that is, again, that's kept me back from so much joy, from so much forward movement, from so much manifesting cool stuff in my life. Like, I held myself back because whatever standard I thought needed to happen for me to take even one step forward, if I didn't feel like I could already do it, which is funny because you're not going to feel like you can do it because you're coming, I was coming from this level to begin with. Right. So I'm looking up there going, holy cow. And it's like, well, exactly. You got to rise up to meet that one, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to get there. Just, it was too far away. So yeah, I mean, certainly that was my experience, is that, is money, and how am I going to do all that, like time wise? And if I can't do it perfect, I don't want to. But all of that was BS. It was just a simple belief system that needed to have a little, it was my armor to protect me, which I love that part of me. So just, you keep doing your thing, girl. And that question of why would you stop doing something that's working for you? It just was like a little chink in the armor. And it was like, it just melted away. And I went, oh my God, totally. There's no question.
That's awesome. I like that armor too. Sometimes too much.
Right.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about your experiences with Masterful Manifestors?
Oh, it's just been so wonderful. Again, I just want to repeat what it's like to be around people that are uplifting and forward moving and real. It is a rare thing, really. I mean, and it's so beautiful. I get strength, I get compassion, I get energy, I get to be me when the three of you show up and are you, right? You show up consistently, you show up real, you show up when you want to, you show up when you don't want to, when things are good, when things are bad, and you just keep showing up. And that shows me and teaches me that that's all I need to do too. That all I need to do is to continue to show up and be open and be willing and just keep showing up regardless. And the healing happens, the change happens, the manifestation of the good stuff that we really want. We know on some level that we deserve, but it's a little bit maybe. And then we rise up a little bit with the strength of each other and we go, yes, yes, I accept, I receive the goodness of life. So yeah, the value of that is so indescribable. I wouldn't even know how to explain that to somebody who was at that stuck place, Well, I guess that's on you. You'll figure that part out. Just frickin' do it. Just do it. It works. I promise.
Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And all of your participation is so beautiful and so wonderful. And I'm so happy you're here. And I'm so happy that you'll be an ambassador because you shine so bright. You just are a wonderful example, and you set such beautiful examples. So thank you. Thank you so much.